Khamzat Chimaev's UFC run has been an absolute failure. Okay, that might be a bit of hyperbole, but it's not been good, and I want to explain to you why. When Khamzat Chimaev joined the UFC in 2020, he was an absolute killer. He was running through everybody and he was fighting fights very often. The hype around him was huge. He started off his UFC career by fighting 3 times in 3 months, and all were finished very impressively. Now, the caliber of opponents wasn't that high, but he would prove the doubters wrong in his next 2 fights. He fought Li Jingliang in an absolutely smothering performance where he just showed how strong his wrestling was and that he was no joke. He then had a real step up against Gilbert Burns in his next fight, having an absolute war but coming out on top at the end of it, but showing that he is human. He was then booked to fight Nate Diaz in the main event, but then after missing weight and having a huge brawl backstage at the press conference, he was rebooked to fight Kevin Holland. He easily submitted Kevin Holland in round 1, showing how dominant he is again. He then took on Kamaru Usman in a 3-round fight at middleweight, which was very competitive and really showed he belongs at the top level. He is only 30 years of age and has 13 wins and no losses. So you might be thinking, why am I bashing him so hard here? Why am I saying he's not doing well? He's winning all his fights. The real problem has been his inactivity recently. Khamzat Chimaev has been calling everybody out online, in person, in interviews. He's a Twitter champion at the moment and he just has not been fighting. On top of that, he's had so many cancelled fights. It is ridiculous. Khamzat Chimaev most recently pulled out of his fight with Robert Whittaker, but this isn't the first fight he's pulled out of, and it probably won't be the last. He has pulled out of a lot of fights. Out of Khamzat's 7 fights in the UFC, he's pulled out of 6 fights, and 3 of them were against Leon Edwards. When, by the way, Leon was much higher than him in the rankings and he accepted every single time, but Khamzat constantly pulled out. Khamzat Chimaev is still only young in the UFC, of course. Like I said, he's only 30 years of age, but in 4 years, with how much he's been talking, how much hype he's had, he should have a title by now, or at least he should have got a title shot. His inactivity is destroying his career. And then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have someone like Alex Pereira, who had joined the UFC in 2021. In just 3 years, he's already has 2 belts in 2 divisions. He's already fought 5 former champions and fought in 6 title fights. And on top of that, Alex Pereira is filling in short notice on fights, something that Khamzat is just not doing. He filled in UFC 303 and on UFC 300, saving both of those cards. He's also completely winning over fans, and Khamzat Chimaev is just losing them. I know injuries do happen, and health-wise, you can only do so much from Khamzat Chimaev's perspective, but he really needs to sort this out, because quickly his career will fade away, fans will forget about him, and they'll just be sick of him. Don't get me wrong, I really respect Khamzat Chimaev. He's a great fighter, and he will be champion someday if he can just stay active. But right now, currently, he's killing his career. At least that's my opinion. And I think a lot of the fan base are thinking the same thing. I think his career is suffering from a similar problem that McGregor's career is suffering right now, except he doesn't have the same star power as him, where he's calling out everyone, but he's not fighting anybody. So people just don't even take it seriously anymore. Let me know if I missed a mark here. Am I completely wrong about Khamzat Chimaev? Do you think his UFC run has been impressive? Do you think he still can become champion? You know, are you still excited? Would you want to watch him fight? Do you care anymore? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button and the subscribe button. It helps the algorithm so much for my videos, and it really does mean a lot to me. So hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.